Hey everybody, quick video here for you today. I have a few things planned later on, but I wanted to do this one. I want to thank the people from Mississippi who sent me the messages after I did this one about 2 weeks ago, the huge Emerald Mound complex. I had a lot of really good messages. I learned about a few sites that I'd never heard about, saw some pics of some artifacts, a whole bunch of cool stuff, but today we're going to go down to a site that I only knew by name until a couple weeks ago, but I thought this was pretty interesting down here. This is called the Mangum Mound down here. There was burials found 80 years ago or so, but I think the story of this is not complete, what is written. But this is a pretty interesting location down here. But this is the Mangum Mound right down here. There was even some debate whether this was natural hill or a man-made hill, or both. And then right down here in the parking lot where you park to view the mound, it looks like this. Here's a look at the ancient mound with the burials found in it. Some copper artifacts that were very interesting and look like other artifacts found in important mound sites. Here is history of work done at the site, and there was a few things I found odd. Some people thought this was a natural hill, and other people said it was a man-made mound. But it started in 1936. The work done here, it says Spurgeon P. Mangum found a copper plate on the chest of a human adult burial. Later, he found a number of other burials nearby and several ceramic pots, only one of which was preserved. 1941, and Albert Spalding came in here from the National Park Service. He described the site as an artificial mound with prehistoric cemetery sitting atop a natural ridge and compared it to the Emerald site. 1951, 13 additional burials were found 50 feet northwest of the knoll. It says in 1963, 24 burials and a second copper plate were found. 1973, a couple people come in here and they write it is not a mound, but a natural knoll. So this kind of went back and forth, but a lot of burials were found here. 1974, 68 to 70 more burials were found here. Here's a drawing of the copper chest plate found on a burial here. That is pretty interesting. That's reminiscent of other Birdman type copper artifacts found at other important sites. Here is one copper artifact coming from Arkansas, site I have not yet talked about. This one comes from Lake Jackson Mounds, I believe, in Florida, all the way over there, same symbolism. Here are three more copper artifacts. The one on the left comes from a site I have yet to discuss. The one in the middle comes from Etowah, the big site in Georgia. This one comes from SPiro Mounds, pretty important site in Oklahoma. So this was widespread, the same symbolism, seems the same culture, the same mythologies. Here, once again, the drawing of the copper artifact found at the Mangum site here. This had to be a very important burial, very important. Also had to be a pretty important site here. And then at the famous site of Cahokia, we have the Birdman tablet here, sandstone tablet found in one of the mounds. But the birds and the connection to the afterlife, well, that is common in cultures around the world. Of course, Horus, the falcon from Egypt, well, it's the same story. Here's a side view looking up at the mound, and they still really can't determine how much is natural and how much is man-made of this mound. But are they missing something from this site? Well, I think they are. Now, when overlooking this whole site, there are a few things that I thought were interesting. One thing, only one mound is described at the site in all articles you read. But this area just to the west here, this is kind of like that site in New Jersey I told you about. It's kind of up on a natural rise here. You notice that? That isn't the main thing that I found interesting here. Now, only one mound is described at the site. Did they have that right? Well, I don't think so. Just check this out right behind here. There, right there. That appears to be a mound to me. I've looked at a lot of mound sites. Is that the way a hill would look in this area? Well, it's very unique. I think that is a mound, an artificial mound. It's up in the woods. You can't see it very well here on Google Earth. You can see it perfectly. I've also talked a lot about alignments, but you notice the Mangum Mound is right here. This is perfectly aligned to the west, so the equinox sunset would be setting right over the burial mound. Does that make sense? Well, it certainly does. They say the Mangum Mound right down here is only about 600, 500 years old. Is this place up here, if it is artificial, more ancient? Well, it certainly looks like more ancient mounds, but the later culture would have been signifying it there in that alignment. But I look from street view and you would never know that this is up here. Is that an artificial mound on top of a natural rise? Well, I think what is on top of here is artificial just by looking at that there. Now, I could be wrong, but my intuition is screaming to me that that is an artificial mound right there. It would have been seen from all around. The alignment with the Mangum Mound to the west, burial ground, that makes sense. I don't know. Please leave your comments below. I think that's a mound right there. Here it says enduring symbols, the history of the Mangum Mound. And it's always single, just one mound here. Illustrates how symbols common to many sacred sites continue to inspire artists today. During the Mississippian period, when native peoples transformed the natural hillside into a sacred mound, artisans throughout the region adorned ceremonial objects with both realistic and abstract images. Snakes, eyes, and birds became the symbols of spiritual beliefs. That is the Mangum Mound site in Mississippi. I thought that was pretty interesting. We might have another ancient mound site up in the woods up there above the site, but I found that one pretty interesting. Copper Birdman chest plates found on the burials here, just like some other important sites around ancient America. Let me know what you think in the comments section, but that was a good one to do. Hope you thought that was interesting. You all have a very nice day.